If my story inspires anyone, I feel I have accomplished my goal. It's not a how-to, but more a story of challenges that proves that one can still enjoy life and find rainbows. Why did I write this book? At one time, my answer would have been, I don't know. Throughout my colorful life, friends have said, you've got to write a book. I'd think of some of my fun experiences, but I always circled around to, who'd care? Now, I hope people who have found themselves in the complex situation of being a caregiver will find hope in my words. My story is unique, but so are all of your stories. Being a caregiver, no matter what economic circumstance you come from, is a badge of courage that no one should have to wear. It eats at our hearts and the depths of our being. Caregivers are definitely number 2, but in reality, they should be number 1. I hope my story helps all of you out there find some kind of path to follow. My path taught me that today is merely a blink in time. As difficult as it is, life's worth living. In the deepest and saddest moments, somewhere there is a flower just blooming. I've had many challenging life experiences, and as I look back at them, I wouldn't change any of them. The joy of life is to be able to see the positives, no matter how bleak the moments are. Just work through them. I promise you, there really is a rainbow of happiness around each challenge. I've always been rather adventurous, and my life as a caregiver was too. I used to say to myself, if I can think it, we can do it. One doesn't need to be trekking across mountains. There are all sorts of adventures. Just the unknown. Stepping into an unusual situation and coming out the other end is the best kind of accomplishment. It's because of my friend, Ambassador Nancy Brinker, that I decided to take the plunge and tell my story in a book. I hadn't seen Nancy for a long time, and I'm not quite sure what spurred on my idea to ask her to lunch a couple years after Don passed away. Nancy knew Don while she was married to the late Norman Brinker, the restaurateur responsible for the creation of the salad bar, and throughout the years, Don and I ran into her at all sorts of events and in all sorts of intriguing places. Don always liked Nancy, and we most likely would never have had our special little tie of history if it hadn't been for him. I might have met her, but from the beginning, she's been a part of the tapestry of my Don life. We might have been better friends if we had ever lived in the same area, or if Don hadn't had his stroke, which caused me to slam on the brakes of many budding friendships. I followed her career from afar, especially intrigued with the fact she was going to be ambassador to Hungary. Don and I had even hoped to visit her there. Later, she was called on to be the chief of protocol to President George W. Bush. After Don had his stroke, I wasn't living a life where we'd see one another on a regular basis, but when I did have a little respite and spent a few days in Palm Beach with our mutual friend Tom Quick, I loved catching up with her.